Hello everyone. I have here a little example to show you on how to use Q, the animation package I've been talking about lately. I just published it a few minutes ago, and I thought it would be a good idea to show an example video on how it works, right? So all we gotta do here is make this content collapse when we tap on the list tile. I've already prepared a Boolean flag to determine the extent, the card state, whether it's expanded or not. The expanded content, it doesn't matter what the content here, just any widget, right? Right now, I just have a text that says this is expanded content of the card, right? So the first thing we need to do is wrap the whole thing with a Q dot. Okay, now we need to decide the kind of trigger we want Q to use. So, for example, if we set it on hover on supported devices, web or desktop, Q is gonna play a forward animation when on hover is active. It's gonna play reverse animation when it's not, right? On mount plays in one direction, which is forward when the widget is mounted, etc. There's a lot of triggers here, and I can't cover them all. I'm just gonna say that we need the on toggle one here. Now, what does this one do? On toggle requires a Boolean flag toggled true or false. Look, you see the word on toggle and you think maybe this is something's that has to do with switches or toggles or whatever. It's not like that. It's you can use this whenever you have two states you need to switch between, right? Like expanded, collapsed, like what we have here, on, off, open, closed, hidden, visible, things like that, right? So when toggle is true, Q is gonna play the animation forward. When it's false, it's gonna play it backwards. That's it. Notice here we don't have uh, uh, any builders, any animations. So how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna make this animate? Since we are inside inside a queue, any widget here can be animated through context. For example, this one, if we want to animate this one first, we're gonna wrap it with something called actor, right? Get the metaphor, queue, actors animate on queue, right? And actors take a list of acts, aka effects. It could be transformation effects, visual, layout, changing effects, anything like that. Actor needs to be inside a queue because it reads the queue controller through the context, so it's gotta be inside the queue. Now, notice here we gotta notice something really important. Queue does not rebuild any of this, right? It doesn't rebuild. Right now, when I add effects here, aka super twins, if you may call them, only this is going to animate. Only this widget is gonna rebuild. So the first thing we want to add here is we want this part right here to collapse. And in Flutter, that's clipping, right? We want to use a clip. Q got really semantic tools to do things like that. It makes it really easy. For example, this is just clip height. That's it. Watch. Now, it's already working, right? But we can make it better. By the way, once you play your Q, you get this div tool working. You can learn how to use it in the docs. It's real simple. So you can scrap your animations like that. You have already seen me do this. Okay. I don't like how this content stays where right there and gets clipped. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some effects. For example, I wanted to okay, before I move forward, you might wonder how does clip height work, right? This is internally eclipse the height for, it takes a it takes a factor like from factor. So basically, as I said, this is eventually this is just a tween and that's applied on a clip widget internally, right? So it goes from 0 to factor 1. But I didn't enter these because these are the defaults, right? When the Q goes, when the expanded flag is true, Q plays the forward animation. This builds a tween from 2, so you get and applies on a clipping on a clip. So this is what you get, right? So, but since these are the defaults, we can keep it like that. All right. Let's add a little fade, make it look better. As you can see that it's fading. I also want to add a little blur, so I want it to focus in. Focus means this is just a blur from a default number. I believe it's 10. Yeah, it's 10 right here or something to 0, right? So hit save. It's already the effect is already applied. You can scrub it, you can play it, you can play it in slow-mo, see what's going on. By the way, there are 2 play buttons here because Q supports bidirectional timeline. So you got this forward timeline and you got the reverse timeline. Right now, you're not seeing any difference because we're not using any different reverse motion. We are using the same motion. So they are identical, but you can use a different reverse motion if you want to. Okay. What else should I add? Maybe I'll add a little slide down. This is just a slide transition. You know it from the basic Flutter widget, transition widgets. With I think it starts from 1 to on the y-axis to 0, something like that. I realize how much I suck at this, explaining things. I'm only good at making things. I suck at explaining things. I'm sorry. So this is what we got right now. Pretty cool, huh? Okay. Notice that how we didn't use any builders, any controllers, any of that stuff. Okay. An expandable card would also need a little arrow showing, you know, that it's expanding or whatever. Okay, we got a trailing. Okay, I just add the icon to the list style. Okay, how are we gonna make it move? As I said before, simple. We just make it an actor. This widget will act in our little scene here. So what do we want to do? We want to rotate 9 degrees from or to 45 degrees, is it? Oh, gotta be 9 degrees. Sorry. Minus. Right? Watch this. This is all we had to do. I can by the way use turns, so I don't think about. Yeah, actually up is better. Up is better. So this is what we got right here. Q everyone. So look. Go check it out on bobspec.dev. Check out all the effects. We got a bunch of them. right? Check out how you can use keyframes. You can use keyframes in Q. For example, let's say I wanted to. By the way, this is act.scale, right? If you want, these are like this to enable shorthands like this. By the way, these are mutable object. The whole thing can be a what? A const, right? So, for example, scale is eventually or eventually goes down to scale act like that. These are the same thing now from 2, right? Let's say I want to keyframe something here. I want to keyframe the scale. It doesn't make sense, but just for the heck of showing you guys the capabilities of Q, we're going to do keyframes. Okay. We're going to give it the motion. Let's say, by the way, Q works with both curved motions and spring based, right? Let's do something bouncy. Let's go something crazy, right? Now we define our keys. Key. Want to go 5. Then we got to go 1. Then back to 3. Some crazy like that. You can add keys. You can add specific motions. For example, I want this to be linear, right? Let's go here, or curved or whatever. You can mix and match things like that. I'm not sure how this is going to go, but whoa, yeah. So I think I need to explain this. The first key here, because this is a scale act, Q already knows that the default value is 1, right? It will always start from 1. You can go. I don't want to start. I don't want it to start from 1. I want to start from 0.6, and the motion is none. This means go here with a jump to this value. Directly jump here. Don't do any animation. Don't use the default motion. Don't use nothing. None means like jump, right? But I want to show you guys something. I can scroll here. So first, for the first bouncy, I'm not sure how long that is. I think it's like 400 milliseconds or something like that. Then it goes to 1. This second keyframe, it uses a linear motion from this to this. Then it goes to 0.3 using the default motion like this. So if you play it, you see a little bounce. Let's go wobbly, so you can see it. Yeah, see. But this doesn't make sense here, right?